Okay, next thing on the agenda is the new age processors, and I will turn that over to Travis. We'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, I'll just quickly introduce him. Ben Smith's here. I'll let him kind of fill you in, but the reason he kind of wanted to come is he met with a few of us the other day and kind of talked about what he wanted to do, and the use is not permitted anywhere in the city currently right now for animal processing of any kind. So to do that, it would have to go through the planning commission and then through you guys as the council to change that. It's not something we can just quickly do as an amendment or anything. So he just kind of is here to present what they do and kind of get your feedback if it's something you're interested in, so that, because they have to move pretty quickly on this if they were going to move forward. So he's just kind of looking for some input. Obviously it's not something you can vote on to say we're going to do it, but just to give him some input. So I'll let him introduce it and then go from there.
Thank you, Travis. Mayor, city council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this to you. My name is Ben Smith. I'm a resident of Cedar Hills, Utah since 21 years, although I have an accent. But I'm an American citizen and proud of it. I'm the Director of Operations for New Age Processors in Renton, Washington. New Age Processors, or NAP for short, processes mink pelts for the owners of American Legend Cooperative Corporation in Renton. ALC, for short, is owned by mink farmers from the US and Canada. The majority of NAP's processing customers are from Utah and southern Idaho. ALC started 117 years ago as the Seattle Fur Exchange in Seattle and currently sells close to $200 million worth of mink pelts for its cooperative members. Its pelts are carefully sorted by color, texture, nap, and size. They are offered by auction under the famous Black Llama and American Legend labels. In order to optimize the profitability of the farmer's mink, the NAP processing plant was started in the building of the parent company, who owns a building in Renton that is about 155,000 square feet. We started that in 2006. NAP has grown and now occupies about 48,000 square feet of that facility. From November, we are seasonal. From November 1 until May 1, we processed 1.1 million skins. And we employed about 103 seasonal employees. NAP is operating 1.5 blocks away from the large IKEA store, and we have a Nissan dealership kitty corner from us as well. We shut down during the summer months from May 1st until November 1st. Now, I know what comes to mind when you hear mink. Mink stinks. There are no two ways about it. We get the mink skins, the farmers put the mink to sleep and freeze the skins and or carcasses, and we pick up mink skins from farmers from as far away as the Pennsylvania, Ohio state line. We do not use any significant water other than for the bathrooms for our employees, and we use some water to mist into our drying system to create the right humidity in our drying rooms and on our fleshing machines. No wastewater discharge other than aforementioned, And to clean the belts, what we use is a mixture of corncob grit and beechwood sawdust. That is sent to a recycling plant at Current. We do that, and that has worked well for us. I put in here, we could use it possibly to generate heat, but I know here in Utah, since I've lived here for quite some time, that might be a difficult issue with air quality control and so forth. So, but we could do that without that. Odor, as I mentioned, we have not had any complaints from our neighbors. I can get letters from our neighbors and from the city of Renton to that effect, and I could provide those. We work with under pressure in the building, so also the building that we are looking at for a possible location is just west of the highway here, down the road, and we would make sure that the people who are in there would not be negatively affected by that. The fat that we remove from the skins gets pumped into a tanker trailer and gets hauled to a rendering company. In the peak months of December, January and February, we use approximately $20,000 worth of electricity. This is in Renton, near Seattle. Overall, for the season, we use about $110,000 worth of power. I've also looked if we were to go to the step whereby we would lease with the option to purchase to put solar panels on the building. And that would cost us a net investment of about $1 million to do so, and that would eliminate or would neutralize our power needs. Plus, we would have power available during the summer months when the usage of power is pretty high, because we do not operate in the summer. The parent company is considering, depending on some initial trials, to move also the basic operation with about 40 fairly highly paid technicians to this area. Ideally, we would have everything in one building. Now we are operating out of 2 buildings in Renton because we have outgrown our facility, etc., etc. So that is something that is seriously being considered. There is some resistance to that because some people have worked with the company for close to 40 years, and they have been in Seattle for a long time. And I keep telling them how nice Utah is and invite them to come here.
But they live in Seattle, so it's...
Sorry?
They live in Seattle.
Yes.
It's pretty hard
but at the same time, I tell them that they would be able to buy a home that is at least 25 to 30%, if not 35% nicer than what they pay for in Seattle. And some of the older employees might be able to pay off their mortgage. So, and we will have quite a few of them come out in Park City, where we have our annual meeting around the 7th, 8th of August, and so forth. And I certainly promote this some more. They're also looking at Idaho. Of course, I don't want to go to Idaho. I want to stay here, be closer, because the last 9 years I've worked 6 months out of the year in the Seattle area, stayed in a company apartment and all that kind of stuff, and fly back and home every 3-4 weeks for a long weekend. So this looks a lot better to me. But also the economics, I think, point in the direction, certainly, and that this would be a better place for us, because we are currently in a at least $12 million building with 155,000 square feet, and that is, and of which we don't use everything because it's very inefficient the way it's set up. And here, so you're looking at something like 60, 65 cents a square foot. And here in this area, we're looking at about 35 cents a square foot. Plus, I think we would be able to draw on a decent labor force here. I know the minimum wage is $2.22 lower here, but we don't pay minimum wage. So we would be quite a bit above that. And we are thinking in the neighborhood of starting people out at $10 an hour. And also there's quite a bit of overtime involved, and we would pay overtime, of course. So we respectfully, the property is, we would lease about 75,000 square feet at 959 West Utah Avenue. And if we can come to an agreement, and we would respectfully ask the council to consider to allow us to do these things in that facility. Thank you. I have some pictures. I don't know if it's time for
I
that.
have a question.
Yes.
All that would be in your facility would be pellets, the first, no animals would be.
No animals whatsoever. Animals stink.
So I guess one of the things that we need to look at if they want to do that is they're going to have to rezone that area. And hey, Ben, didn't you say you had a timeline that you wanted to try and stay on?
Yes, but I had a conference call yesterday, and I told the board of directors and senior management that I think it's unrealistic to try to accomplish that by the 1st of November, because we have to go through permitting and fire review, etc., etc. I think we shouldn't rush it, but I would hope to have everything in place, permit-wise, etc., etc., the drawings, the engineering, etc., etc., by January 1st. So when I shut down in Renton on May 1st, boom, we can load things on the truck and come here. So that has changed a little bit,
Okay.
giving us a little bit more time.
So, yeah, because I don't, you probably wouldn't want to start getting architects and everything until we actually have something
Yeah,
decided on.
yeah, that's realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You see there on the right-hand side is the back of the tanker where we blow the fat into that tanker. And that's what the tanker would look like that goes to the rendering operation. The container on the left is where we collect the sawdust and the concrete. And that gets all for recycling.
So on the sawdust, there's no odor that comes off of that?
There is some fat in the sawdust and concrete, but it's we can enclose it more if that would be required, if that's necessary. But our neighbors have no problem with it. And when the entrance to our building for the executive offices is right next to it, and they don't say anything about it either, or roll the windows up or anything like that. It's not a strong odor at all, actually. And,
Would you be moving your executive offices here as well, or just the processing?
we might keep a small executive office in Seattle because it's the old Seattle Fur Exchange of 100 years ago. But all the senior grading staff, etc., several vice presidents would come this way. Yeah. So,
Joe, I just got a question here.
sorry.
Ben, just real quick, so I'm fairly familiar with the Seattle area. I looked you up. I did just on Google Maps. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
You've got that Nissan dealership, right, kind of kitty corner from
Yeah.
you. And there's a big subdivision on that road. It's not a freeway, but there's a major highway. It looks like
Yeah.
to your
That's
east.
167.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not too far is to the west is SeaTac. So you're kind of right in the middle of everything, it looks to me like. So that isn't a huge concern to me at all.
Okay.
But what's a little bit of a concern is that the type of employee you're going to take, that
Yeah.
you're going to need, we already have a shortage of in our area.
Yeah.
So, you see what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
so if we come in and we dilute that employee pool even more at this point.
Yeah, well, the wages might go up a little.
No, with the $10 an hour people.
Start, yeah. What,
Wages go up?
yeah,
I just know that, like, even the cherry farmers this year, they're really struggling. They normally will, the one that my daughter works for, she said that they normally will hire 25 more because they'll have that many that commit and then don't show up on the first day. This year they had 45 that didn't show up.
wow. Would be a concern. I would go through there are two programs, the H2A, which is for agriculture, like for the fruit growers, and then there is the H2B, which is for processors. That's where we would fall under. And with that, you can bring people in, and of course you have to provide transportation to here. I've talked to one of the largest fruit growers already, because we would have to provide housing. Well, his people would be gone by the time I would need housing. And I discussed that with him 2 years ago when I was looking at this, and they were interested in renting those facilities to us, so they had year-round occupancy there. Under the H2B program, we would be able to deduct from their wages the living expenses. Of course, we can't make money of it, and we wouldn't want to, but you have to provide transportation from that housing to the facility as well. We won't charge them for that. So, but we also required to pay overtime, and we would pay 50% overtime. And so then that keeps, like, to give you an idea, this past season, we had about 56,000 hours of regular hours, and close to 10,000, no, is that correct? A little over 9,000 hours were overtime hours in addition to that. And that really bumps the wages up. They like that.